Hey, and welcome to the latest edition of the Bond Chronicles. Felt we would give y'all something a little different this weekend. I know people were out and about doing all the lovely things that they wanted to do. So we wanted to give you a live episode
36.
36, the good old Jerome Bettis episode. Shout out to the bus. Shout out
How
to
do
the
you remember that? Like all these people's numbers. Because every week I think I'm waiting to figure out whose number you're gonna pick,
no.
and I never know.
Well, he was a Hall of Fame running back. He was
I
pretty
mean, I
popular.
know who Jerome Bettis is.
Oh,
It's just I wouldn't have remembered his number though, not
Yeah.
for these purposes.
I mean, at some point we're going to get to a place where we probably don't have a name, an athlete association, but
yeah.
that I know the next couple on top of my head, so we should be good. I guess I could do maybe some research and get maybe a cooler one, but I feel like I know where I'm going. So, thank you to everyone. Shout out to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got a big win yesterday, an ugly win, but it was a win nonetheless. But this is not a sports episode.
No, it's not.
Today's episode is my beef with society and all of society's no-nos that I think are absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
So we're going to get into them.
And he has a lot of them, y'all.
We're only going to get to a couple because we only have a short amount of time. But I got a bunch of issues with a bunch of different things that go on in the world. And yeah. So I am Mr. Bond Chronicles. I have my host,
Mrs. Bond Chronicles.
And we are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. We are on Facebook. We are eventually at some point going to stop talking about it and be about it and get on TikTok as well. But we have not made it there yet.
Not yet.
We are adjusting to the new Instagram world with Reels and waiting to see what's going to happen with Meta. Could you imagine a virtual podcast in a land far, far away potentially?
I mean, because then our audience would technically they would be virtual, but if you set up your little avatar thingamajigger, technically you'd be there
in their living room.
No, like they'd be in our audience, like there watching. Isn't that how it works? It's like I feel like it's gonna be like updated, cooler version of Sims.
Very well.
No,
I don't know. It could be fun. But you know, in society, there's this thing that you know, you if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's all of these crazy sentiments about just what is normal. We just went through a period where we had a holiday weekend, and it's normal to dress up and walk around to strangers' homes and take their candy and say things and speak to people you would never ever speak to on a regular basis. And that to me is just kind of crazy. If you have a holiday, it's okay for me to walk up to strangers and talk to them and shoot the breeze, learn some things, meet some new people, and people are open to it. They're also welcoming. But the next day, once that table of candy is gone, once that bucket outside their house is gone, we revert back to this individualistic, single-focused society. And so it seems like we have a lot of holidays that all foster a desire to commingle and cookouts and block parties and all this cool stuff. But if it ain't a holiday, we don't talk to each other. And so that wasn't on the list, but it just came to me. So
it just came to you.
Like, what is that? What's wrong with humanity?
I don't think we have enough time to talk about what's wrong with humanity.
Valid.
I mean, in this day and age, living in a pandemic COVID world, I think it's funny how the day before Halloween, everyone was stressing, you know, social distancing, 6 feet away, all that good stuff. But this past Saturday, we went to the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
There was no social distancing,
or masks.
Oh no, some people had masks on. My mom and my sister had on masks.
They did, and so did the young man that they had with them.
Yeah.
The rest of us regular people.
We're out there just free balling in the air.
Yeah. I mean, they had signs up saying, yeah, this could be a COVID zone because there's not great
There's
airflow.
no, right.
But come on in.
Right. And, breathe the air at your own risk.
Yeah.
But then, obviously, Halloween, I didn't see a whole lot of social distancing for Halloween either. Like, I saw plenty of my friends have kids, so I was looking at all the parties. I did see one interesting thing. Like, I've never been into bobbing for apples. Like, I've always thought that was really gross.
It is.
But a friend of mine went to a little kid's birthday party, and they had like little individual bowls for all the kids to bob for their own apples by themselves. It's like, oh, that's smart. I feel like that should have been a thing a long time ago.
No, it's kind of the point is to like compete with other people.
Yeah, but that's nasty to just stick your face in the water that someone else's drooly face has been in and grab apples with your mouth. Like, I've always thought that was nasty.
So I thought it was that was not the reason I thought it was nasty. I just thought it was weird. But I guess that kind of makes sense.
I get the point. You're supposed to, whoever gets the most apples wins. But
yeah,
you're still putting your face in the same water,
like,
and potentially the same apples.
Like when you go swimming?
Yeah, but there's chlorine in the water.
Oh, okay. But people pee and poop in it.
Who poops in the water?
Kids poop in the water.
Which is not socially acceptable.
It
ever.
Yeah, we're not gonna give that a pass. That's disgusting. So get your raggedy kids and keep them out. Pooping. Right,
that's what the kiddie pool is for.
No, that's
so. Yeah, let's get to what this list is of things, gripes that you have in society.
So the first thing that I have, and this happened recently. It happens almost every day, actually. Like, I'm kind of busy. Like, I have a life. I work from home. I have kids. I like listening to music. I like driving in silence. I like whatever it is that I like to do. And so people calling you, there's this thing where like you can't ignore the call. Like, it is disrespectful to push the red button and send someone a voicemail. And so I feel like we've lost some things in society. There used to be a time in society where someone pissed you off, you could hang up on them and it meant something. Now you just push a button. It doesn't give you the same feel of the bang on the phone. So I feel like we've lost that.
Huh?
You never hung up on them?
I mean, I've hung up on plenty of people, but I still feel like it's disrespectful to hang up on people.
Yes, but the feeling of joy of knowing that I banged on you is different. No?
I mean, not for me.
You feel like pushing the button is the same as slamming the phone down?
Oh, well, I don't think I've ever slammed a phone down. No. I've always just pressed a button on my phone.
You didn't have a house phone growing up?
Yeah, but when I had a house phone, I wasn't upset with anybody enough to bang on them, as you say.
Did you have like a flip phone? Something?
I did. I had flip phones. And I mean, so I guess that's the same or similar.
Slam them.
Yeah. Okay. I'm there with you, but no. I feel like for me, it's the same satisfaction, same thing. Like, if you're hanging up on somebody, you're hanging up on somebody.
Okay. Well, we disagree there, but that's fine. So there's this. I don't know, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know who started this, what culture, what group. I'm thinking it's women, but I don't know that. But the idea is you have to and Apple has adopted to where you can silence the phone so that it'll keep ringing. So the person thinks you didn't see it. But the reality is we all have our phones on us. We almost all have them on vibrate or loud, or they're ringing through the car or whatever. You know when people calling you.
Yes.
But so that you don't offend them, you let it ring versus saving them time. Saving you time, because when it's bzz, 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 that is so frustrating. So I am starting to, and I will do more of this. So for my friends and family that are watching, if I send you the voicemail, don't take it personal. I'm saving us both time. I don't want to talk to you at that time. That's just what it is.
No, I mean, I hear you, and I understand.
Like, it's okay to not want to talk to somebody.
It is, especially like if you're busy people, you have long days. Sometimes the phone rings and you look at it and you know who's calling. You know,
It's
they
some
can
stuff I
be
don't feel like dealing with.
long-winded.
Right.
And you don't necessarily feel like talking.
Right.
I mean, I get it. I get it.
Because you know what then happens? If it's me and it's important, I'm gonna call back. Or I'm gonna shoot you a text message.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, like, hey, you there? Or when I know people are ignoring me, I'm the kind of person, y'all have probably figured me out by now. I'm the type of person to say, hey, I didn't want nothing. Or this is what I wanted. And then you know what magically happens when they realize I didn't want something that's going to take a lot of time? they call back. So you saw that I was calling. You didn't want to talk to me. Just tell me that. Save us both a bunch of time.
Save us some time.
So that's first on my list. Next on my list is similar. It's to leaving people on red. Like,
so I don't get to talk about.
Oh, you go. Oh, I thought you were in agreement. Go ahead. Talk about it.
For the most part, I am. Like, there's a select few people that if I'm not in the mental space to entertain a really long, drawn out conversation, I'll just let it ring. But I think it's because you feel bad for sending people to voicemail.
Yeah, but what happened?
And it's just like, because you don't want someone to, you don't want to offend anyone and, make them feel like you're ignoring them or you don't want to talk to them or there's beef.
But that's exactly how we feel.
And that's because nobody likes to feel like they're getting ignored. Like, for instance, us, like, you take long sometimes to respond to messages or to answer the phone. And typically we're in the same house and I just don't feel like coming downstairs. Like, I don't, especially the more pregnant I get, I just don't. I'll call you after I've sent the text message to figure out why you're ignoring the text message.
Yes.
Or I'll, text you to figure out why you're ignoring the call.
Yep.
And I know most of the times it's probably because you're working, but I also see you when you work.
Yeah.
So I'm confused as to why you're not responding.
Yeah. So I like to entertain myself when I get forms of entertainment. I don't have a lot of time where it's just quiet and I can watch or do what I want to watch or do. I'm not watching Mickey. I don't have something on that I can't really listen or pay attention to because there's craziness going on. It could be a dog barking in the window. It could be kids wanting something to eat. It could be kids running up and down the steps. It could be someone that just wants to have a conversation. So when I have the opportunity,
meaning me?
Could be you. So when I'm watching, say, a podcast or a sports show, and it's a topic that I want to listen to,
that you're invested
I am invested in, and other people are coming around, what happens when we're having conversations? I have to pause my show over and over and over because other people are not as understanding or invested in what I'm watching. So when I have my phone and someone hits me on the phone, if I'm invested in that, I don't want to be bothered. And so naturally, I ignore them. But I try to do it the socially responsible way. Same thing with text messages. That sometimes you send a text message, I'll read it. You know I read it. I know you know I read it. I didn't respond. It's not personal. It's not an attack on you. I don't think you're a miserable person. I don't think you're less than a person. But at that given time, I didn't feel like responding. I didn't feel like talking to you. And that should be okay. I think we need to make it okay in society to not want to talk to someone.
So just start declining phone calls and see how that goes.
I do. We do it to bill collectors or telemarketers. We should be able to do that to our friends and family. Like, hey, I don't want to talk to you right now. Now, sometimes when it's old people, like my granddad calls sometimes, I let it ring. I don't want to bang on my granddad. But there's sometimes I don't want to talk to him either. And he's usually short. That's the thing I love about my granddad. He don't keep you long.
He's never really on. And,
Yeah.
And it's always funny with him because I'll think that he wants to talk a little longer, but he be ready to get off the phone.
Like, all right, that's all I wanted.
That's all I
wanted.
wanted.
See you later.
See the kids. Say hey.
Yeah.
Check in on everybody.
Got it. So yeah, I don't know how to start the campaign, but
start the campaign.
I'm gonna maybe you should make some shirts. It's okay to ignore someone's call or something. I don't know. Come up with something creative, and I'm gonna walk around with it because I know there's other people that feel the same way. And silencing the phone is just tacky. They got to sit on the phone for ring, and it just ring and ring and ring. And I already seen it, and I could have saved you 20 seconds out of your life. Yeah. So did you want to go to here, or did you have something?
No, yeah, we can hop to the next one, leaving people on red.
Yeah. So how do you feel when someone leaves you on red? Me, maybe.
Well, when you leave me on red, it incites a different, a little bit of a different reaction. But in general, I don't typically get offended when I get left on red because I do it a lot.
This is true.
Not intentionally, but like I'll be in the middle of a conversation and something will pop up, or something happens and I put the phone down and then I forget to go back to the phone or back to the conversation. Like I'll respond to a text message from 3-4 days ago. Like, hey, I saw this, but I forgot, or hey, I just saw this, and pick up the conversation. I think that should be okay. And similarly to the whole, declining phone calls. We have lives. We're busy. We're running around all day, every day. I mean, even just here in the house, like there's so much stuff going on. I feel like people should give each other more grace. Now, if we're mid-argument, and I know, like, I'm like sending messages and I see you're reading the messages and then you just say nothing, that's different. Like, that is intentionally to piss somebody off. Or what?
I don't want to say something that would piss someone off.
Bruh, no.
What do you mean, no?
No, that's not how. I mean, speaking specifically for us, that's not how you function.
It is how I function.
No, it's not.
Especially in text, I be trying so hard not to try, but you just be pushing me sometimes, and then I just got to say it. And this isn't just her. This is like in general.
It's people in general.
It's women. Usually, my issues in most arguments, I don't argue with men really. Who I be arguing with?
I mean, no, I know you mostly argue with women, but you argue with women because, your views can be a little...
Right?
I'm not going to say right.
I be right, they be wrong, and they don't like it, and then I got to try and explain it and give them 50 different thousand examples just to maybe get an okay. But this isn't about that right now. But I think, so the mental side, and we all been on this side too, is you see the message pop up. You know it's somebody you don't want to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't read all the message in the preview. So then you're stuck with the dilemma on, do I leave the little blue dot and I can't know what they were trying to say? Or do I open it, know what they said, and then I'm stuck? So for me, I'm going to the point, I want to know what you said, but I might not want to respond to it right now. And you should be okay with that. So these norms, we're just going to keep cutting them down. The world has to be better. And I think it's okay.
Like I said, generally, I don't have an issue being left on red from other, like you can't just leave me on red. Like especially for things that I expect a response from, and the things that I expect a response from, you can't just leave me on red. Like I said, other people, it's not such a big deal depending on what the content of the conversation is. And again, I'm the kind of person, I'll come back to a text message like 4 days later and be like, oh, hey, so yeah, about that thing we were talking about 4 days ago.
That's so wrong,
though. Why?
Like, so there's leaving someone on red, and then there's, oh, remember that thing you said 4 days ago? Like, no. At that point, I need an apology. I need some kind of acknowledgement.
I mean, I say like, my bad, or something along those lines. I got busy. And, and then respond from there. Like, Paige, me and Paige, like, we'll start conversations at like 11 o'clock at night. and then one or both of us will get busy or whatever happens.
How busy do you get at 11 at night?
I mean, it just depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes I'm up working and I forget that my phone is here and I have to get focused working. And it's like, again, it's not a slight to her. And I go and, we start the conversation back up again.
But two, and we had Tiff, shout out to Tiff who's in here. So here's my thing. Leaving it unopened is similar to the phone call where you just let it ring. I don't know if you got it or not.
No, because you
don't.
That's different.
I don't know.
Leaving, you can see that you have a missed call. Like you might not be by your phone when it's ringing, but eventually you're gonna pick your phone back up and you see.
But you know how phones are, especially me. I get notifications literally like all day.
I know, it's
so that missed call could be 8 notifications down by the time I get to it. Between Twitter, between Facebook, between Instagram, between work, between text messages. Like
no, because you're also the kind of person that you don't like the little red flags on your phone.
So, yeah, but do missed calls show up as red circles?
Yes.
All right. So, all right.
You're just sitting here lying.
No. I'm not lying. I'm just saying I'm going to open it. I'm going to hit deny so I saw it and I can't talk to you. And the other part to this is if someone denies you, don't call them back. We need to make that a thing because I have certain friends that do that. And it's obnoxious. And so now
that I hate notifications.
And so now when you call me back, now I'm gonna find one of the little pre-recorded words. So I'm gonna send you that text message that says, I can't answer right now. So no, I'm with you. Like, that's annoying. Once I bang on you, you're banged on and I get back to you. I'm a good dude. We're friends. Take your time. Relax. Breathe.
Take your time, relax, and breathe.
Yeah.
The wise words from Mr. Bond Chronicles himself.
Yes. So that gets me to another frustrating point. And I've been on both sides of this. So I hope y'all understand my heart.
I hope.
If you don't want to go somewhere, tell people you don't want to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I've hosted a bunch of events in my life. I've hosted fundraisers. I've had mad kids. Like I've had mad parties. Like I've done a bunch of stuff. I've invited a lot of people to a lot of things. We have a podcast. We invite people to a lot of things. If you don't want to go, you're not sparing my feelings by telling me you're going to go and you ain't going to go. Like, we're grown adults. If you don't want to come to my thing, tell me.
So are you talking specifically about like RSVP? I'm just trying to look and see.
No, it could be
canceling plans. Okay.
Yeah. So like cancel the plan. Like don't tell me you're gonna come because you know what happens is, and there's certain people, and I ain't gonna call none of you out. Because I love y'all. But I know certain people, when they say they coming to things, it's 50-50 at best. And so my thing is, your heart might be in the right place, but you need to be more self-aware and recognize you be canceling a lot. And the flip side to that is, in a friendship, in a relationship, I should be able to come to you and say, hey, you cancel a lot. Stop canceling all of my events. Either tell me you don't want to come, so I will stop inviting you, and we don't have to do this awkward dance. But if you can cancel on me, I should be able to call you out for canceling.
So I agree with you, like 1,000%. One, I am extra. I recognize I'm extra. I be doing a lot. Birthdays, holidays, anniversary, pretty much any opportunity that I have to throw a party or to bring people together, I'm going to take it. And for me, again, I'm extra and I know it. Like I take a lot of time, like from the food, the decorations, like organizing.
That stuff costs money.
It's not even about the money for me.
It is for me.
For For me, it's not even about the money. It's about the time that I invest because one, like I was raised that when you invite people over, when you bring people together, you feed them well, you make sure they have a good time, and you be a great host. And that's always my main aim. And so for me, if you tell me you're coming to something, I've counted you, I've accounted for food for you, I've made sure that there's going to be enough games, like whatever it is, like I put that number into place. And I also will double back and, confirm like, hey,
Right.
are you still coming? Is this still a thing for you? And again, like you said, if it's not going to work, that's cool because I can adjust, I can, rearrange things and obviously spend a little less money, which my husband always is happy about.
Yes.
But it's not a big deal. And at a certain point, it's just like, oh, well, they never come to the event anyway. I'm just not going to invite them. And then if they feel away, I'll ask them. I mean, I'll tell them like, hey, I didn't invite you because XYZ reason. But when you RSVP for my event or we make plans and you continually cancel on, like that pisses me off.
Right.
Like to no end. And for whatever reason right now, it's super popular for people to do that. Like my girlfriend friend, she's planning a wedding. And like she posted something, I think maybe a month or so ago about people RSVPing for the wedding and all of that. And like, I don't know what happened, but her post led me to believe that she was a little pissed off with people. Like they were RSVPing or they were trying to RSVP, but with like 10 extra people. And she's like, that's not how these things work. I don't know. I didn't ask for a lot of details. And that's just the thing. Like, I don't know if people aren't learning the right etiquette anymore. And it can get really irritating. Tiff said, it's funny because the people that always cancel are the ones that are always in their feelings
Those are facts.
About not being invited. That's exactly how, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you cancel on me continuously, I'm just not going to invite you anywhere. And then if I don't invite you, if you feel away, I'm going to explain to you why I didn't invite you. Like, it's no beef.
But see, that's the thing. I don't even, and if you want to do that, that's fine. You know why I stopped inviting you. Like, what are we doing here? You know you keep canceling. Like, this isn't a secret. Like, you, for whatever weird reason, and it ain't just a you, I'm saying you like one person. No, yeah. This is a thing. Yeah, there's multiple people that I've invited to a bunch of things over the course of my lifetime, and they've never come. And so I do it out of the goodness of my heart because I don't feel bad, but I don't even want to be inviting half of y'all half the time because I know y'all not going to come. But I do it because it's the right thing to do. And what y'all do? Play me. So I didn't pay for food. I didn't pay for drinks. I didn't gave your spot to somebody else that might have probably came.
And that's the thing. For me, that's another like big thing. Like I curate my events basically for the vibe to be right, for the right people to be there, the people who I know are going to interact and have a good time. And so me specifically, I'm just like, I know these personalities are going to mesh well, so all these people can come. But then there's always in the back of my mind, I was like, dang, I should have invited. And you just, you'd be like, it's cool. I got them next time. But then that one person, they just don't show up. And that blows me.
It does.
A lot.
It really does. So we're going to get better at just don't come. Like, tell me you don't want to come up front. Don't wait. Don't RSVP. And then be like, day of or day before something came up.
Day before, even I'm good with.
No. Day before, I've already paid. Everything is already set up for you to be here in order for it to be taken care of. So day before does me no good. I told you RSVP 2 weeks in advance. Don't tell me somebody got sick the day before. Don't tell me, and I don't want to use too many real examples because somebody might be watching. But y'all know what y'all be lying about. And you knew that stuff was going to come up. And personally, I feel like when you give me that line, I should be able to come back and challenge it and say that's BS.
I need to see a doctor's note or something.
Right. Like, so you such and such, they got sick. Oh, this event just popped up. Like, let's talk about it.
How's the
Let's
event,
really
bro?
talk about how you just, I forgot that this massive event was coming up and it just happened to be at the exact same time as your event. And I'm just supposed to be like, oh, okay, no worries. We'll get you next time.
No, there's no next
Like,
time.
I'm over all of that.
Tiff, we got you. I don't know what we're gonna have. Oh, we're having Friendsgiving.
We're
having Friendsgiving.
We just telling the whole world we're having Friendsgiving. We'll give you the details on the date and location at a later time, at a more secret time, where people want RSVP and did not come. But yeah, we're gonna do that. I think that's kind of become like a tradition. So yeah. If it grows, we can start renting some places and stuff like that. That'd be cool.
With it. Like I said, like I love planning stuff. I love any excuse or reason to get people together, especially during these times. Like life is crazy. You never know when the last time you're going to see someone, speak to someone, or when things are going to change. So I relish in the opportunity to get folks together. So yeah.
So we're going to move on to the next one. And this is something that I really enjoy. Especially as someone that has gone to like churches. Like I used to go to, I still go to church every Sunday, but like I've been invited to a lot of like church events. And I feel like there's certain events that you're supposed to stay to the end. Let me tell y'all, I'd be bored at a lot of events. We just watched, and we're live, so I ain't got to worry about dating. We just watched our president go to an event he probably didn't really want to be at because my man fell asleep at the event. If people are falling asleep at your event, that says a lot more about you than them. As someone who has preached and spoken, I take full ownership if said individual is sleeping during my speech. So, as the speaker, I would rather leave, get up, bounce. Don't fall asleep in the back of my session. Don't start snoring. Don't be doing one of these the whole time. Like when you're ready to go, leave. You don't gotta, how people make the subtle things like they start moving, they start getting their jacket ready. Like don't go through all that.
Just
like
get up and go.
Be comfortable. It's okay. You can leave. You can go home. I like my house. I like the things in my house. If you want to leave, we need to make that normal. People be so scared and so afraid to offend somebody. Yo, if your event sucks, it sucks. And I should be able to write a review and tell you, hey, this was dope. This sucked. This is why I left. And if you want me to come to your next event, then fix this. Otherwise, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have a history of, man, that event sucks. I don't really want to go, but I'm friends. So you know what I'm going to do? RSVP. And then the day before, because I really don't want to go to your boring event, I'm going to cancel. So I think it's just best for everybody.
Dang, so is that why people just be canceling? Because our events don't be super exciting?
I think people canceling our events because they know it's going to cost them some money. Like,
nah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
They don't want to bring food. People cheat. If it's a potluck, and now all of a sudden, oh, I forgot I didn't run to the store. I don't want to show up empty-handed because that's tacky. Then they don't show up. Or, like I said, we had kids, and you don't want to go out and buy a gift because y'all cheap. That's also... That is. Same thing with a wedding. How you going to show up to a baby shower or a wedding with no gift? That's messed up. So they just rather not come and cancel at the last minute when you have plenty of time for the wedding or whatever the event is. Like typically you bring a gift to said events and people be cheap and stingy and selfish. And so they don't bring
Or they're in between their blessings and they don't want to show up empty.
Stop. Because, and that's not true. It don't take a lot. People eat out all the time. People waste so much money that you could do something. You ain't got to buy, a $100 gift. You ain't nobody I know that can't afford $20 to spare $20. I don't care. You can't convince me that you can't afford $20. You could be unemployed right now. You be getting benefits right now. You could be working right now. You can afford $20. So I don't want to hear it.
Don't want to hear it.
I don't want to hear it. But if you're ready to go, leave. Like, don't make it awkward for people. And then the other thing is, when people leave, have you ever met? I had this happen the other night when I was in Walmart, and it kind of scared me because you meet somebody that you ain't seen in a while out in public. It's like, oh, so good to see you, and you may or may not remember their name. So let's say, for the sake of this conversation, you do remember the name. At the end of the conversation, like, oh yeah, hit me up sometime. We ain't been talking for weeks, years, potentially. I'm not hitting you up. We don't need to have that fake conversation where we exchange information because we're not going to talk. And then the second part.
Sometimes you do, though.
What's the likelihood? If I ain't been talking to you for months to years and I happen to run into you and we've already caught up. So how's the kids? How's the family? What are you doing? I saw this on social media. That's all our bases are now covered.
So you're friends on social media and you just don't talk.
I mean, we know you. Yeah, I've seen you. I have access to you. That's why I stopped you. Because if I seen you or if I don't know you like that and I see you in public, I avoid you. Because I don't want to have this wasteless, useless conversation where we talk about stuff we don't really care about and don't need.
Like this literally just happened the other day when we were out doing the costume stuff.
Yeah.
Like we ran into somebody from high school. I ain't rock with that girl. Like we were never like super duper close good friends. And we like, stood there and had like a whole conversation. And in the back of my mind, I'm just like, this is so awkward. But that's why I ended the conversation the way that I ended, because like I didn't want it to seem like let's stay in touch, let's anything.
Yeah.
I just kind of was just like, oh yeah, it's nice to see you,
and
kept it moving.
And that's you want to be civil, but in that same situation, like I saw the person once, and I looked away. But because of the locale and the way the store was set up, there was nowhere for me to go. And I couldn't only look so many places.
To make eye contact.
Someone made eye contact, getting there, like, oh, hey. And at that point.
No, Tiana, no names. We're not giving out names.
No. And at that point, like, me and the individual, like, we ain't had no problems. It was just like, you see what I'm doing. I see what you're doing. We don't talk and communicate there. So why do we feel obligated to talk and communicate here? And then it's a superficial conversation. Time is lost. Time is wasted. Yeah. Did you put this up?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Tiana. Yeah, I did. Yeah, they asking for names.
Yeah. We're not going to do that. We're not here to embarrass anyone. I mean, I would, but it's just not necessary. But yeah, I just think stuff like that could definitely be avoided and just make everyone's life easier and not be fake.
Not be fake.
And so that leads me to the next part of this. And and you might disagree with me on this, but I don't care about everybody's problems. Like, I know that might be harsh. I know COVID has been rough on the world. I got my own problems. And there are some people, part of the reason why I ignore y'all phone calls and leave y'all on red and avoid y'all in public is because I don't want to hear about what's going on in your life. Because I got stuff that I would rather be doing. And I feel like we should be able to say that to people. This football game that I'm watching is more important than what you want to talk to me about. And I don't think it's wrong of me to not want to care or carry the burden of whatever it is you're going through. I can get back to you at a later time. You have friends and other family members that you can talk to. And so, similar to the interaction we had recently, I think it should be socially acceptable to say, hey, I appreciate you stopping to talk to me, but I don't really want to talk to you because I don't care what you're about to say. It's not relevant or important to my life. And that, I know it's harsh to take that someone might not care about you. But the truth is, you don't care about a bunch of other people. So I feel like it's hypocritical for you to be mad at me because I don't care about what's going on with you. Like, I just don't.
So, to an extent, I agree with you. We all have those friends or even people that we see on social media who just, this is negative.
all the
always
time.
negative. And after a while, it's just like, it's draining because regardless of what they're going through in their life, it's, you have your own stuff you're going through.
And I probably can't even fix what you got going.
90% of the time you can't. And the frustration becomes, okay, I'm listening to your problem. I'll even give you advice on said problem. And you keep coming back to me with the same problem or a problem that's along the same lines, or we only talk when there's problems.
That's a good one.
That is an issue for me. Yeah. Because at that point, you are dumping all of your emotional baggage on me. And I have enough going on in my life. I've got my own emotional baggage. And to talk to someone on a consistent basis and it's always negative energy,
that stuff brings you down.
Nobody wants to deal with that. One, just because it can completely put you in a negative place.
It do.
And then two, it's just like, dang, does anything good ever happen in your life? Because all I ever see is negative stuff. So, and that's on one hand. On the other hand, the type of person that I am is like, I mean, I'll listen, but I'm going to cut it short. I'm going to cut it short because, especially if it's something that we're talking about multiple times over and over and over again. Oh, so Tiff said, so what you're saying is don't message you when I have a problem. No more problem. That's not what I'm saying. One, because like I'll listen and I'll offer advice. I'll give my own input. And, you know, a lot of times like I can relate to what people are going through, or I'll just sit and be an ear. But at the same time, if I notice that you're coming to me continually with the same problem, you're not listening to any advice from me or from other people that I know you're getting advice from, I'll probably start cutting the or I'll start changing the topic of conversation. I'm really good at that, actually. If I don't want to hear somebody's sob story, like I'll be like, dang, I remember you were telling me about that a few weeks ago. I'm sorry that this didn't work out, but this other thing, and just completely switch gears. And a lot of times the person will, okay, well, they don't want to listen to my sob story. I'm just going to go find someone else. And I'm okay with that.
See, I don't. No.
But you don't have, you're not.
So here's the thing, like, I'm not telling, and for anybody, like, because there's a lot of people that I do. A young man called me last night and we had a really dope conversation. So I'm not saying you can't reach out to us or reach out to people. What I'm saying that needs to be normalized in society is the person you reach out to should be able to be honest with you at that time and say, you know what? I don't care. I'm not interested. I'm not taking the time. I got too much other stuff going on. I hope the best for you. I care about you. But right now, I don't want to hear it. And I don't have to, change subjects and hope they get the message or the memo or anything like that. Like, we're cool. You came to me with your problem. I've helped you with previous problems. But this particular problem, not the time. There's other people. Have a good day. And I'll catch you around. I'll see you around. But I just think that should be normal. I shouldn't feel guilty for not wanting to talk to you or listen to your story, like as you've pointed out, about something I've already heard before. Like, especially if I've given you advice and you ain't follow my advice, and now you're coming back because you keep making the same dumb mistakes. Like, what are we doing? You clearly enjoy your miserable life or your misery that you're in. Don't bring me along. Like, come talk to me when you fix it, when you're working towards something we can build towards. Like, that's cool. But a lot of this other stuff don't be that. People just be bored. And I'm too busy to be bored by your nonsense.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Hey, Tiff, last time I gave you hair advice, you went and did something completely opposite. What I suggested.
Talk about it.
But I got you whenever you need some more advice to ignore. So, just
or
text me.
Or the other part to this is, and I'm going off the deep end, but I'm really not. Pay me for my time. If you want me to sit and listen, there's people that make great livings sitting and listening and giving advice. So what I will tell you is, for just my time and energy, I ain't gonna be interested. But if you throw me a couple dollars, I might be more available because now it's worth my time. And my time is valuable. So that's another thing. You could just offer it and I would take it. But I should be able to say, I don't care and move on with my life. And you should be able to accept that and understand it's not malicious. I just don't care right now. So these next couple things that I have, y'all can think what y'all want. But this is how I feel. And so y'all came here, do what you must. Yeah. So I think we've seen this joked about a couple times, and I really would like this to be more normal. Babies be ugly. Like, I have seen some of the creepiest looking babies, and you be wanting to show off your ugly grandchild or ugly child and force me to say, oh, how cute, or isn't he adorable? Yes, you do. Anything. Yes, you do. When you say, hey, I just had a baby, or hey, you put it on Facebook, or hey, I'm out, and I talk to people and they be like, oh, my grandson, especially when we tell them that I just had kids. They be like, oh, I had kids, or I had a grandkid, and you want to show me your kid? You know what your kid looks like. You know what your grandkid looks like. So don't get mad at me if I'm like, that kid's not cute. Every kid's not cute. Every kid's not a Gerber baby. Every kid's not a Huggy baby. Some babies are just ugly. Sometimes it's because they have ugly parents. But that's just the fact of life. Like, blame God.
Blame God?
That's not me. I didn't make the ugly kid. I have attractive kids. I know my kids are attractive. You might not like my kid. That's fine. But I don't feel like the onus is on the person viewing said kids to go along with this lie perpetuated that all kids are attractive, because a lot of kids be ugly.
Look, I don't talk about people, especially one, you're just not supposed to, because
why?
One, it's just not nice. It's not nice. And two,
ugly kids can turn out to be attractive adults.
And what happens is you talk bad about people, or you really dislike somebody while you're pregnant, and your kid either turns out ugly or your kid turns out exactly like that person. So I avoid those types of conversations because it's just not cool. They show you a picture and you're like, oh, how sweet. You don't have to say cute or beautiful or gorgeous or any of those things. They just be like, how sweet. What a precious bundle of joy. What a little miracle. Because that's what children are.
It's a miracle that kid looks like that.
You do not have to go. You don't necessarily have to compliment the physical features of the child. You can just be like, hey, congratulations. I don't subscribe to calling kids ugly at all. I just don't.
So Paige, this is a perfect example. Our kids have large heads. She has a large head. I have a large head. Naturally, our kids have big heads. We own that. If people talk about our big head boy kids, hey, our kids got big heads. They're still cute. They're still cuddly. They're still lovable for the most part. But they have big heads.
Our kids are very
That's
lovable.
okay. If your kids' eyes are weird or got the teeth come in and they look all monsterish, like, don't be showing me your kid showing his teeth and then expect me to not be like, hey, what's wrong? What's wrong with your kid? Like, what happened?
Bruh, because it's just not nice. It's not. That kid has no control over what they look like.
I agree. I'm not blaming the kid.
But you're calling them ugly.
As Tiff said, is it okay to call adults ugly? We body shame and call people ugly all the time. I've said it on this podcast many times. I don't need to see Lizzo's butt ever again. I don't want to see it. Cover it up. It's nasty. Guess what? When I see Rihanna's, it don't look like Lizzo's. Rihanna's is attractive. I don't hate it as much when I see it. That's not like world breaking news. Some people are ugly. Some people are attractive. People think I'm ugly. I'm fat. Like, so what? I own it. I'm not going to walk out with, a man thong on showing all my stuff.
Well, I wouldn't let you, for one. Like, that's just not ever going to be a look that you can get away with.
I know, but David Beckham back in the day, or some European guy with 8 abs and tennis balls for muscles and nice bronze exterior, he can do that.
I remember there was this picture of Cristiano Ronaldo. He had on some very small
He's another one, yeah.
Speedo. And I guess they obviously had spray tanned them and all that stuff. And I remember seeing it and I was just like, wow,
now imagine if that was Faison Love.
No, but that's
what they did.
I think very shortly after that movie Couples Retreat came out, and he was out there with the and it was not the same. It did not invoke the same reaction. But I typically steer away from calling people ugly, or
if your weave's bad, your weave's bad.
I mean, I'm a professional, so
if your eyebrows is crooked, your eyebrows is crooked.
Again, I'm a professional. I can say that.
Well, no, I'm not a professional. But if your weave's bad, or it looks like it stinks, or something like that, then I can say, hey, the weave's bad. If you don't brush your teeth and you got stuff in your teeth, tell people that. Like, I'm not being rude or abusive.
Well, I don't disagree with telling people that
when a breath stinks.
Hey, your breath stinks. You might want to go. I have gum and there's mints. I'm not opposed to that. If you got a booger, I'm going to tell you that, hey, maybe you want to go check your nose.
I've even had situations with women where, and it's awkward. I had to do this at work with one girl. Her shirt was sheer, and you could see through it. And so I had to be like,
you might want to put a jacket.
You've been walking around all these people and nobody's going to say something to you. I'm going to say something. And that's more helpful, but you should be able to critique different things about people. And it's not like I hate you. I'm trying to tear you down. I want you to have low self-esteem or nothing like that. But if you ask me.
But I think there's a difference between critiquing someone to help them and critiquing someone just because you don't find their looks or something about them agreeable.
Again, I'm not trying to just bash people. But in the event that I'm asked or something is presented to me and they're like, what do you think? I'm going to
be able to give your honest opinion.
What I think. And I might not use the most extreme versions of the word until you start pushing back. So if I say, I ain't really into it, you're like, what? This joint fly, this joint dope. All right. So I was being nice. It looks awful. It's terrible. I don't know where you found that. Don't ever wear it again. Something like that. But people just, I don't know. They be tripping. Especially in fashion today. People be wearing some stuff. All these chunky shoes. I'm
not with it. Those chunky soled shoes.
You look like
we literally
clowns.
Had this conversation the other night. I hate those shoes. My mom has those Converse with the soles that are this thick and white. And I see them everywhere. I don't understand them. I think they're really ugly. I don't think they look good on anybody's feet. They're awful shoes, but they're everywhere. And I think this is because people are sheep and they just wear what everyone tells them to wear. But that's, again, personal opinion. And I love my mom. She's a very stylish woman.
She is, typically. So these last two is, and I would be curious to know if you know the history of this. So the first is, we live in a society where I think Facebook was just on Capitol Hill with the whistleblower because they were suppressing information and funneling false information and things like that around the election. One of the most polarizing conversations you can have in society is politics. People feel super, super passionate about politics. I have lost mad friends, church member friends, over politics. That to me is one of the dumbest things in the world. I do all this stuff. We've had all these great conversations because of who you think I voted for or who I voted for Now we can't be friends. I get, well, if you align with their ideology, then maybe I don't know you. No, you know me. We've been talking. We've been friends. That's why you accepted the friend invite when I sent it the first time, because we was friends. You see what I'm posting? My page has always been public. I ain't running from nobody.
Apparently, Ray wants to smoke right now. So
No, that's what this, and this is a series. We're just doing the social and friend part. We're gonna have relationships. We're gonna have family. We're gonna have some other aspects of this thing where we have all these social norms or social no-nos. We're getting rid of all them, as far as I'm concerned. But the idea of asking someone who you voted for is so taboo. Apparently, it's so offensive. I think Dave Chappelle might have done like a stand-up or mentioned this at one point. Like, if you were so proud about who you voted for, the same way you're proud about your ugly kid that you keep showing off, why doesn't that correlate to who you voted for?
I don't think I've ever had an issue with people asking me or telling folks who I voted for. I, like you, none of my social media is private. I post a lot, and I've always been a very opinionated person, and I'm willing to have an open dialogue about my opinions. I think because it's supposed to be private, like no one's supposed to be able to judge you or anything like that based on your personal politics. I think the problem, especially in today's society, is that today's politics are so polarizing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have political figures now who invoke so much emotion, negatively or positively, that it's easier to just steer clear of the conversation than it is to have the conversation. Because we also live in a world where a lot of people don't know how to disagree with someone or disagree with what someone believes in or feels or whatever, and still maintain a semblance of
respect.
And it's not even respect, because maybe it is respect. Like, I don't particularly subscribe to, I don't like who you're voting for. I don't like your choices in life, so I can't be cool with you. Like, I don't feel that way. One aspect of your life, one aspect of who you are, I don't think defines you as a whole person. So there are certain things that I can look past. Like, I know you voted for Trump. I can get past you.
Twice.
I can get past you voting for Trump. One, because I can have a conversation with you to understand why you voted for Trump. I can have a conversation with pretty much anybody with why they decided to vote for the person they voted for. We have a gubernatorial race coming up tomorrow. And I'm just like, oh, am I going to vote? I don't particularly care for either candidate, to be 100% honest. But my husband here is, continually harping on me about how important it is to exercise your right to vote.
Our ancestors went through way too much for Black people to not vote.
And I don't disagree with that. But I don't care for either candidate. I don't like Youngkin and I don't like McAuliffe. So I'm kind of on the fence about what I'm going to do. I'm probably just going to show up to the poll tomorrow and throw a dart at the thing and vote for whoever it lands on. There are things that I like about both of them. There are things that I dislike about both of them. But I can have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people can't have that conversation right now. Or maybe they've never been able to have that conversation. But because we live in a society where everybody shares everything, all these details, all these little things, like, we just don't process it well.
But and that's the part, and we've kind of had this conversation before, where you separate the artist from the art. And I feel like when it comes to people's opinions, you have to separate some people from their opinions and understand that some people are good people. Like, there are Biden voters that were really good people. There are Trump voters that are really good people. But their ideals and what they value could be different. Like, someone could value abortion way more heavily than gun control. Someone could value the economy way more than climate change. So yeah, somebody might have said something really dumb. Some politician, they all lie. But that's not to disparage that individual. They vote based on what's important to them. So I don't understand why you would throw away friendship and cause debate or come to physical or verbal altercations because someone has a difference of opinion without knowing their background and why they were raised the way they were raised. Like, if you're an immigrant to this country, you may want people that are pro-immigrant. If you are someone that lived here and maybe, God forbid, you lost a family member to a crime of an illegal immigrant, you probably have a really passionate view on illegal immigration. Mm-hmm. Like, so if I vote for the opponent, the person that wants to build the wall and keep the illegal immigrants out, that doesn't mean I'm a bad person. It just means that, and this isn't my case, but like,
I'm voting for my experience.
For my experience. If my parents worked really, really hard to start a business and they started a small business and they built it, and I'm starting a small business, and one of the candidates is giving benefits to small businesses, I'm going to vote in the interest of small businesses. And yeah, I care about abortion, or yeah, I care about universal health care. But most important for me and my family is for my business to function. Like, we have a podcast. You have multiple businesses. It would be indicative of you to vote for people that are going to put laws in place that support you growing your business. Mm-hmm. If you're a minority and you've been disenfranchised in this world by police, and there's one person that's saying, this is an issue, this is a problem, and I'm actually going to tangibly do something about it, and I have a history of doing things about it, but their voting record on the economy sucks, you got to pick what's important to you. And I feel like as a society, we got to get to a place where we can understand that what's important to me doesn't have to be important to you. And what's important to me doesn't mean I think less of you. It's just not as important to me. And the fact that you can't even have that conversation without people losing friendships or causing arguments or disruptions in the workplace or somewhere else, I think is just crazy. And I would like to get to a point where we are more understanding people. And that's really what all of this is about. I know we laughed and joked about a lot of things, but the key is being understanding of where people are coming from. If they don't care about your situation, like, that's okay. It doesn't mean your situation's not relevant or not important to you, but it doesn't have to be important to me. The same way as a believer, if I believe a certain way in religion, I'm not going to disparage you just because you believe in a different thing. I believe what I believe is right, but I can still love you and care for you and have your best interest in heart, even though you may not believe what I believe.
And that's the thing, even that's a really big conversation to have, though, because people will look, especially at Christianity, Christians, that our faith, and say, well, you're hateful, you're these things, and your faith is the source of that. And it's like, no, your prejudice against my faith is from people who've used it the wrong way and weaponized it to, to single out people, to make people feel bad. When at the end of the day, God is love. That's the only thing that he wants everybody to do. He wants us to love each other the way he loves us, because we're not perfect people and we all deserve to love. And the fact that people seemingly forget that even though what you feel or you believe is what you think or what you feel is based in your experiences or your faith or whatever the case may be, they think automatically because of this, your stance, you can't be a good person. You can't. There are all these phobias, all these different things that they try to classify you as now if you don't believe or you don't, subscribe to the same things that everyone else does. And I just think in a society like that, there's no room for anyone to have any kind of opinion that doesn't follow the flow of what everyone else does. It's idiotic.
Agreed. So yeah, they can see it.
Oh dang! I was trying to tell him that the time. Or
keep in mind, she was the one that was just doing the talking. I stopped at right around an hour, which is what I said we were going to do, but I let her go And I didn't give her the. But nonetheless, we appreciate y'all. We're doing something a little different. Trying to give y'all a little spice, a little fun, a little humor. Hopefully, you can go enjoy this miserable football game. The Chiefs, they look awful. The Giants, they look even worse. So whatever it is you're doing tonight, hopefully you had some enjoyment, had a good time. And remember, in life, things happen. You have the power to choose what you do. Always choose wisely. Choose you. Bet on you because you are important. And last but not least, if you have been blessed by us tonight or at any time, if you've been on this journey with us through 36 episodes, go ahead and bless us. We've had the Cash App in the comments. We would definitely appreciate it. Support small businesses and all that fun jazz. Have a good night.